Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Fresh Crits of Melbourne. You are here with your host, Steve Flack, as always, brought to you by Bionico Cycling. Check out the link below for some sick kit. And today we are down with Hawthorn Cycling Club down at the Teardrop in the Boulevard. And this is my first A-grade race outside of Masters that I was in. And first A-grade race, and it's safe to say that I was absolutely shitting myself coming into this for a few reasons. A, because it's been a long time since I've raced down at the Teardrop, so it was a little bit rusty. B, I knew I was going to get absolutely shelled because these guys are absolute beasts. And C, I didn't really have any mates down here. We got Pat right in front of me in the Velo Kicks socks and the yellow mustard jersey just on my right-hand side now. So first race in A-grade in Hawthorn, and safe to say this video is going to be a short one because I got dropped after 18 minutes. There's no shame in that, and you're going to see why. So you can already see a few attacks up the road. So look, we're going to get stuck in. We're going to have a look at what makes A-grade, the jump up to A-grade, so brutal, especially down at Hawthorn. And we're going to look at reasons of what I could do coming into next race to do a little bit better and last a little bit longer. So, as always with Hawthorn, this bottom corner is always the tricky one. So being able to navigate that one with speed was really, really important. Spiking up to 1,000 watts just to keep with the bunch up the hill. But this race was a real tricky one. As you look at the map in the bottom right-hand corner, we had it was quite a strong breeze. Don't ask me what direction it was, but coming up the hill, it was down, you had a tailwind, but as soon as you got around that top corner, you were faced with an absolute rip snorter of a headwind. So basically, there was no recovery in this race, because normally B grade, you come around this corner, you can sit up to some degree anyway, and have a good sit and kind of recover on the descent. But not in this one. It was coming around this corner and you were faced with a very, very brutal headwind. So it was pretty relentless. So that's the environmental difficulties that I faced today. But let's have a look at a couple of key moments in this race and identify where I could have done things a hell of a lot better. Before I do though, please make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, get around the socials, check me out on the LinkedIn, all that kind of stuff. I like to hear from you guys, and if you spot yourself, pipe up in the comments below. All right, let's get stuck in. All right, so we picked this one up with literally just a couple of laps in, and we ran the bottom corner here, and I think I hold that line okay, but straight away they're on the power, full gas, and you look in the rear cam, and I'm fourth last maybe. And that's one other thing with A-grade is the field is relatively small and they're very tightly bunched together, so that if you get dropped, you have no chance about being able to grab a wheel or let the wheels go past and snap onto another one. As you can see, there's already another break being launched off the front. And that's the thing with A-grade. There are attacks at every part of the course. There's attacks attacking into the headwind, there's attacks going up the hill, even attacks on the flat. So you've really got to have your wits about you. You've got to make sure you're trying to stay as close to the front of the bike race as you can, but because the pace is so hot, it's very, very hard to do that as we come around and almost hitting up to 60 kilometers an hour. So I found myself here in a bit of a passing lane. I'm just dabbing on the pedals, 300 watts. I'm pretty happy with that, but now's an opportunity. I'm thinking, right, I don't have the legs compared to these guys. I've got to try to pick my moments, be smart about it, and try to move up, find that time to move up into the bike race, which I do here as we come back around this corner again. So that's just one sort of example of what one of the differences is between B grade and A grade. Couple more laps later, and I'm still in the race, which is fantastic. I'm wrapped to be in here so far. I think there was one moment I looked down at the Garmin and I was wondering how long is left, and I'd only been out there for 10 minutes. So I knew it was going to be absolute death. So we come up this hill once again, and because I don't know any of the riders, I don't really know what's going on. I thought we'd actually been lapped, so I wasn't quite sure. So saw a bit of an attack go up the road here, and I was like, sure, let's get involved in this. So I jumped in, spiked up to a big effort to try to get involved with these two boys. not actually thinking that I was going to have to pull a turn. So this was a really good combination of riders, made up with Steve Robb, who is in the Cycle House kit, and he ends up coming second in this race. And also Ryan Mosby, who is in the 99 Bikes kit. And the only reason I know who that guy is because I've been stalking him on Strava for about 6 months and never liking a ride. So I'll be liking rides from him more often because he's an absolute beast. But you can see here we've actually gapped the field. And the funny thing is, it's the first time I've ever been in a breakaway in Hawthorn. And I've never gone in a breakaway because they never stick. So God knows why I decided to do it in A grade, but why not? Anyway, so we last one lap, and I'm punching straight into the headwind here. Heart rate's out at 180 beats. I'm pretty cooked already, and now I'm thinking, all right, we've got to get around this corner here. Straight away, back onto the gas. And obviously, I'm just trying to recover and sit in and just try to survive. But obviously, these two boys are not very content with the idea of just dragging me along for the next couple of laps. And this is where you see Ryan starting to flick the elbow saying, mate, if you're in this bunch, you got to have a crack. And little does he know, I'm actually on the limit and about to explode. But I managed to just kind of sit in, bide my time, and hope that I don't have to come around coming into the next bit of a headwind. But you can already see there's a few riders starting to bridge across. And things, this gap that we have is starting to get eaten up. Second rider here, and now it's my time to shine. So as I come to the front for an absolute hero pull, I'm thinking how I need to impress these guys because I don't want them to think I'm a bit of a flog, first race here and not doing any work. I'm hoping to come back eventually and have another crack. So I want them to know that, that's Steve Flack guy. He goes all right, fresh crits and all. But put out a measly 299 watts as I come round to the front. With that in mind, the group is starting to close up that gap. I come into this corner a little bit too hot, and come out a little bit too wide for me, but managed to keep things together. But as you can see, the group behind us is already almost caught up, and I'm absolutely gassed. And the thing is, right now, in this part of the race, not once have I looked around to see where the group is behind. I'm actually just trusting that these guys know what they're doing. And this is another one of the things that I did wrong. Like I said before, I was freaking out coming into this race because I was just nervous. It's almost like first time back in school. You're a little bit nervous. You don't know what to do. You want to impress your mates at school. So the group's already come on, and now we're just basically towing them along. Roland's made the right call, and he's realised we've been caught, so he sits up. And this is where basically Steve Robb says to me, we've got a gap, let's pull a turn. So we come around this corner, I'm still in the mix. He flicks an elbow, and he says to me, we've got a gap. And he's looked, and he sees we don't have a gap, but I trusted him, man. I never looked around once and decide, all right, I've got to impress him again. So I ripped this absolute hero pull of another measly 290 watts and absolutely bury myself. I'm 181 beats a minute. I'm blowing up as we speak, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get around the next corner without fully popping? So I jump off the pedals, come around the corner, and then proceed to blow up. And this is where everything goes wrong. 670 watts to just try to maintain the pace. One rider goes, two rider goes. All of a sudden, the entire bike race rides past me in the manner of about, 30 seconds, I guess. I get forced into the gutter here, so I have to kind of sort myself out to try to get back. And in a blink of an eye, I've been passed by every single person in A grade, and that is pretty much race over. And at the moment, I'm just bleeding out of the eyeballs here. Got no chance, and that's pretty much over. I knew it was all over when Pat, there he goes, cruises past me, and now I'm stuck with C grade, and that is race done. And then to make matters worse, to rub a bit of salt into the wound, we've got the marshal here in the yellow shirt. He's like, mate, are you racing C grade? And I'm like, oh no, I'm A grade. And obviously he can sell that I'm done. So that was pretty much race over for me. I lasted 18 minutes. I'm not proud of it, but you got to start somewhere. It's an absolute brutal course jumping from B to A grade, but that's, you learn from your lessons from this sort of thing, and that was race over for Steve Flack. So that's pretty much it. That's race over for me, and I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you got, if you didn't get anything, useful out of it, I hope you got a laugh at least, because I certainly didn't when I came home with my tail between my legs. But I'll be back, and I've got another couple of videos lined up, so make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, because I'm looking forward to having you all back. We'll speak soon. Cheers.